Good afternoon, and welcome to Seattle, Washington, to Memorial Stadium, the site of tonight's big-time National Women's Soccer League clash between the visiting Portland Thorns FC and the hosts Seattle Reign FC. Hi, I'm Landon Brookert, alongside longtime soccer coach David Wharton. And David, you look at these rosters, stars, stars, and more stars. Give us just a brief glimpse of some of the battles we'll see tonight.
Well, it's hard to pick just one matchup to talk about. I mean, we literally have an embarrassment of riches all over the field, but just to go to the opposite ends of the field, on the one hand, you've got Sydney Leroux and Alex Morgan, best friends off the field, but definitely fierce competitors on the field. They're going to be trying to outdo each other in front of this big crowd today. And then on the other end of the field, you've got Hope Solo. Reign fans are obviously very familiar with her. But oh, by the way, on the other end of the field, you've got the current World Player of the Year, Nadine Unger, who's had a terrific season. This should be a terrific matchup.
We have these matchups, many more to come. First kick right around the corner. First, we bring you another edition in the spectacular season of Levy Films that you have been enjoying. This time, we're going to preview the captain for Seattle Reign FC, number 11, Keelan Winters.
How'd you get this on the knee?
That was in my last game against, we were out in Rochester playing New York Flash, and I took too long of a touch in midfield, and one of their players was about to take it and just run down towards our center back, so that was fun. Little blows me away. I think she blows everybody away. Just how she's able to, she'll have, in a pocket of 3 to 4 defenders on her, and she's still coming out with the ball somehow. I give her the ball with the utmost confidence that she's going to do something good with it. She's going to, create something for us. So just her footwork and her ability to get in and out of pressure, to do what she wants with the ball when she wants to do it. I don't think there's very many players in the world that can do that, especially not the way she does it. Steph Cox, she's so graceful. She is like one of the most graceful soccer players I've ever seen, and she actually, the second we're in the locker room at halftime, she's coming up with these like ways to get out of the situations that we've got ourselves in, or she has just a great coaching mind. I think if she's going to coach someday, I would love to play for her.
After your interview last year, did your dad see it?
Yeah, I spoke with my dad about it. When I saw it, I wrote him a quick email and shot him off the link and told him that I'd like him to watch it and that I'd like to talk with him about it all. And he wrote me an email back saying that, just that, everything I said was true, and that he thanked me for the compliment of, I told you that he's the best man that I know, which is still true.
I'm sure your dad is thankful every day that he has his kids, and they're all blessings. And I think you being lesbian may have been hard for him, but has it changed him? And is he aware, you think, of that, if it has or has not? And, isn't that in and of itself a blessing, because it's a portal to an open mind?
Yeah. I don't know that it's changed him, but whenever you're presented with a difficult situation or a difficult question or something that makes you look further or look beyond where you've already looked, or look deeper into the philosophical side of things, or your faith, or deeper into your soul, or whatever it is, I think that then that's the way I think people really grow. So I don't know that it's changed him, but I think just by coming out and having the conversations we've had has led both of us to a deeper understanding of who we are, who each other are or is. You know, I understand who my dad is, he understands who I am, and it's that level of understanding, that deeper level of understanding, and then a deeper love. I mean, that's what it comes down to, really. Because you can love someone, but if you don't know them, do you really love them?
But don't you wish it would change him a little?
I don't know. I think maybe there's a desire for, yeah, I mean, sure, I guess. You know, do I wish that, you know, people in general would understand me and you know, the LGBTQ community and give us the, I guess, the dignity and the equality that I feel we deserve. Yeah, I wish people would change in that way. But things are changing. And for the better, in my opinion.
I think when I was talking to Kendall, she said that, you know, you can look around that locker room and everybody's had a different road. Mm-hmm. But what do you think is there any kind of common denominator amongst you guys?
Yeah, I think the common denominator is the love of the game, the passion for it. Because if the passion isn't there, then there's no drive. You know, okay, so you're given the athletic ability just through my genes. You know, my dad was a pro basketball player and my mom is athletic, and so I was given that through my genes, but it's the drive, it's the inner drive, it's the you know, desire to be close to perfect. In high school, I was one of the fastest on my soccer teams. So I was, you know, a forward, I was a goal scorer. I went to college and suddenly I wasn't the fastest anymore. And I was, you know, put into holding center mid, defensive center mid, and that's where I've played ever since. But then I moved to the pros, and suddenly the majority of people are faster than me. And so it's always that question of, okay, if people have more ability than you, how can you outsmart them? Is your touch as good as mine? You know, do you know where to go with the ball when you get it, or are you still thinking about it when you receive the ball? So it's always that question of, you know, how do I beat you?
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium here in Seattle, Washington. Thank you for joining us on what is a very special evening for women's soccer here in the Pacific Northwest. We are just about ready for kickoff, and so this gives us a moment to take a look at tonight's starting lineups. First, the starting 11 put out by head coach Paul Riley for Portland Thorns FC. David Wharton, give us a couple names that stand out to you on that 11.
Well, you can't talk about the Portland Thorns without talking about Vera Boquete. She's an absolute magician. She's got that hide the ball trick down, completely mastered. And she's going to be a handful for the Seattle Reign backline, and Keelan Winters in particular, to pay attention to throughout the entire match.
They should be an exciting side to watch and look for them to continue their extremely attacking styles. They've been playing with a diamond midfield as of late. And on the other side for Seattle Reign FC, the lineup, according to Coach Laura Harvey, same thing, David Wharton. Give us a couple players. What do you expect from this lineup?
Well, I think, Naho Kawasumi is going to be really, really important here. With Portland playing that diamond, there's a lot of space on the flanks to be exploited with the three front that the Reign play. So Bev Goebel and Naho Kawasumi are both going to be critical in order to try and break down the Thorns backline.
The last time these two teams met was back in May 10th. Seattle Reign took home a 1-0 victory from Portland, thanks to Kim Little and a cracking assist.
Yeah, it was a game that was just a little bit contentious. The Thorns didn't like the Reign players celebrating so exuberantly on their field. Some people have already called it the best game of the NWSL season. We're hoping for a rematch of that or a revisit of that today. The thing that the Thorns are going to have to be careful of, they're going to have to manage their fatigue. This is their third game in a week, and it's coming off of a long trip to Washington, D.C., where they had a 2-hour lightning delay before their previous game. They are going to be a little worn out, and look to see some possible substitutions early in the second half if their midfield dragging.
And of course, rivalry matches, derbies, as you would say, tend to be a time to almost set aside the big picture. But David, where we're at in the season for Portland Thorns, they're right on the cusp of that last playoff spot, perhaps even jumping ahead and hosting a match. They can't afford to set aside the big picture.
No, they need points. I mean, they've only got 3 games after this game is over, and whereas Reign have 2 more games in hand on Portland and a lot of the teams chasing them. So really, this is the Portland Thorns are going to have to go after this game. Reign can afford to sit back a little bit, but I don't think they will. That's not Laura's style.
You see Kim Little on the screen at the moment in a deadlock for the Golden Boot in the NWSL for most goals scored. Boris Senek, the center, standing over the center dot with the ball in hand. Portland wearing their red strip, going from left to right across your screen here in the first half. And the near capacity crowd here basking in the sunny glory that is Seattle in mid-July. Alex Morgan standing over the ball with her traditional strike mate, the illustrious Canadian, Christine Sinclair, and play is underway. As we get things going, David, I know you've been itching to share some of the keys to the game. Let's start with the team who had the first kick. What are some of Portland's keys?
Well, as I said before, they're going to have to manage the fatigue. The other thing that they're going to have to do is they're going to have to make sure that they track defensively in the midfield. Seattle has a lot of players who like to move. Kim Little makes these surging runs out of midfield up into the flanks, and it's going to be important that they, with that narrow diamond that they play, that they track those midfielders.
Boquete very talented, winning that early free kick that almost leads to a half chance, and it leads to a whole chance, in fact, as that goes over the byline for a corner kick. Perhaps a lot of people not heard of Boquete, but she is a force to be reckoned with here in the NWSL. Ali Long set to take this first corner from the near side. Outswinger. Good job by Fishlock to get it away but not out. The second clearance from Kim Little. Team defending all over the park, and a foul whistled against Portland back in the Reign Zone 18.
Yeah, you can tell the Thorns are already very amped up there. They want to come and shove the ball down the Reign's throats as quickly as they possibly can. Reign just want to get their feet, work their way into this match a little bit.
It is a charged atmosphere here at Memorial Stadium. And why shouldn't it be? Some of the best football on display in the entire world. Here's Keelan Winters. Over the near side. Cox ahead. It looks like it got caught in the wind a bit. Didn't carry as far as she hoped. Okete up the near side. And back by Lauren Barnes to Hope Solo, who's having to dance away from a bit of pressure before the clearance is affected.
And that's going to be one of the big things for the Reign on the flip side.
Played up to the near side. Here's Beverly Goebel, who leaves it for Sydney LaRue. Streaking toward the byline. It's in the back of the net. Oh, what a shocker for Portland. What a hard angle shot and what a goal for Sydney LaRue in the 3rd minute.
That is a great looping run by Sydney LaRue to get outside on the flank. She was just trying to work that ball across the face of the goal. Don't know whether it was a shot, don't know whether it was a cross. At this point, it really doesn't matter. Here she goes around the outside, swings it in with her left foot, and Unger gives up that near post. You never want to do that as a goalkeeper.
The most famous view of all from behind the goal. What happened to Nadine Unger on that shot? No one will ever know, but it's a 1-0 lead for the home side in what is quickly becoming one of the biggest rivalries in sports, and certainly here in the NWSL.
And you can already see what that meant to the Reign players, the entire bench leaping to their feet, hugging all the players on the field.
LaRue couldn't get through 3 players. It was Amber Brooks who ended up doing the deed. The resulting pass runs into touch. And from the shadows, Stephanie Cox will resume play.
Now the Reign.
Sorry, David, you mentioned some of the keys already for the Reign, and already some of them are coming into play. You have anything else to watch for from the Reign tonight?
Well, the thing is, as I was trying to say earlier, the Reign have got to be clean out of the back. Portland loves to step up and press.
Oh, here's a dangerous ball played in toward Beverly Goebel. Good sliding challenge in from Van Hollebeck.
And you saw that earlier when Hope had to play that ball away under some pressure. They've got to be clean. If you go back and you watch the last game against the Boston Breakers, most of the chances that Thorns created were from pressure in their offensive half of the field.
Sarah Huffman unable to keep it in for the Thorns. Already a goal on the board. No, that ticker is not incorrect if you're just now joining us. It is 1-0 to the home side. Early goal coming from Sydney LaRue. Landon Brookard alongside David Wharton. Stand-ins for some fantastic regular commentators, Tom Glasgow and Leslie Gallimore. Nice enough to let us come out and enjoy a fantastic night of soccer that got off to a roaring start. Very direct ball played over the top. Chasing it down again, there is Naho. No one on the same page, so it rolls harmlessly into Ongur's hands.
It's nice to see the Reign playing a bit of a longer ball. As a coach, I like to see the ball on the deck, but the Thorns play such a high line. Their space is going to be on for Naho and for Bev Goebel, and as you saw in the goal, it's going to be on for Sydney LaRue as well.
Perhaps some of you saw the 9 goals scored on national television on ESPN2 between this Portland side and Boston Breakers. The 3 Boston goals certainly at least in part due to that high line. LaRue back, one-time pass from Kim Little forward.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cautionary tale for Reign fans right now. Breakers went up 3 times in that game, only to stumble in the second half. So the Thorns are certainly used to coming from behind. The Reign, of course, though, have only given up 1 lead all year, and that was the Chicago Red Stars in their 1 loss. No, excuse me, in their last tie against the Red Stars, pardon me.
And the Thorns, that aforementioned game against Boston, is their only come-from-behind win on the season. They've come back to draw several times. You got to think they would take a point under these circumstances. They're still well and truly in the hunt, not only for a playoff spot where they sit currently, but a top 2 seed in a home match where they are, you would expect a capacity crowd from the tremendous fans down in Portland. Fishlock.
Jessica is working back in between the forwards to try and give some more support.
Hope Solo going to quarterback out of the back once more. Goes over everyone's head. And this could be, Unger out in plenty of time. Looked like Sydney LaRue might have had a mind to go and chase that one down. It was just too long.
She's going to be looking for that. I mean, if you look at the last 4 goals that Portland have given up, especially that late one at Washington last week, that's how they're giving up goals. That high line ball gets played over the top, and then Unger likes to play at the top of the 18.
Keelan Winters losing out to Veronica Buquete, and Buquete, I believe that's the second foul she's drawn already. This time she stays on the turf. What a battle between her and Winters after some wonderful one-touch passing between Sarah Huffman and Alex Morgan.
Well, you wondered how the Reign were going to handle Buquete. You know, with they're playing with a triangle, and you can see they get both Fishlock and Keelan Winters. She gets between them and then gets hauled down as she squeezes through.
The physio tending to the fallen midfielder. You've mentioned it. We'll mention it time and time again. 3rd match in a week for Portland. You got to know that there are some weary legs out there, as Keelan Winters has shown I'll call it a warranted caution from Boris Sinek, setting the tone a bit early perhaps, knowing that it is a charged derby atmosphere. Sometimes you see a warning for that sort of challenge in the early going, but was a hard challenge, as you mentioned.
It's very early on. I mean, we're really early in this match, and there has been a ton of fireworks already.
So the captain with the caution in the 8th. And we hope Veronica Boquete is okay to continue. She's hobbling off the field for the sake of this match. She's a fun player to watch. She sits down on the sideline. Hopefully she'll be okay to continue. It's not looking promising, to be honest. Obviously all speculation. The Reign setting up with a 3-person wall. The step over and the shot. The ball in from Allie Long.
Yeah, ball floated to the back post, but just a little too high for Christine Sinclair. It was running in, not quite unmarked, but she was certainly free.
Reign not biting on the fake as Sarah Huffman did a little step over. Hope Solo came up big in that last match against Portland as well, as Portland outshot the Reign in their defeat. Perhaps the players coming into the match just a bit more now, a little less frantic. Ball too long for LaRue.
And the Reign, looking to draw up that back line and then play the ball in behind for Sydney.
Winters with the head to it in the midfield. Challenge, a little hand in the back, but won fairly by Van Hollebeck, says the center official, but another player down. This could be a head. They really ought to stop it. And Boris Sinek realizes that is the case, as there is a collision between teammates. And the physio waved on once more, the second time in 10 minutes that we have needed medical attention.
Yeah, and this is the kind of thing that you have to check on. You have to make sure that she's doing okay. You saw a couple episodes in the most recent World Cup where players were practically knocked unconscious and allowed to come back on the field. And there you see a couple of teammates just coming together and, both of them looking for the ball, and they clash of heads. But you got to make sure that the player has all their wits about them. You don't want to further endanger their health.
Yeah, too many stories of early retirements due to head injuries. In fact, if you're a Seattle native or familiar with Seattle sports scene, wide receiver for the Seahawks just retired due to concussions. Play is restarted. Here's Lauren Barnes. Kim Little on it.
Again, she gets into that wide left channel after coming out of the center.
Loses it after a bit of pressure from Sarah Huffman. Referees having none of this. The several-yard walk up the touchline. Being a bit particular, to be honest. I'd rather just see players started, especially back there. They're not getting any significant competitive advantage. Fishlock there to collect the flick on off of Alex Morgan.
Van Hollenbeck's back on the field. It's good to see.
Kendall Fletcher. Yeah, you don't want to take any chances, but Looked like she was checked out pretty quickly after the return ball for Naho. Oh, that's a nifty little move. Has it on her left foot, goes to goal. Not a bad move. And again, a near side, a hard angle shot troubles Nadine Ongerer. This time going out for a Seattle Reign corner. And David, you know, especially professionals like Ongerer, they tend to forget quickly, but is perhaps that a little bit of the early goal sneaking into her mind?
Possibly. I mean, I think that the problem with Naho is she's so deceptive in the way she plays the ball. She was looking in the middle of the field. Ongerer was cheating up, looking to see if that ball is going to be crossed in, something she could step out for, and Naho decided to go near post, and I think kind of just wrong-footed her a little bit.
Chance for the Reign's first corner of the night. Outswinger toward the far post. Dangerous. Headed away. Cox able to collect. That's a good whipped ball, and the Thorns will do the safe thing. Stephanie Catley playing it out for another Seattle corner.
And there's Boquete just coming back onto the field. She looks like she's no worse for wear.
Naho ready once more for another corner. Just floats in there. Keelan Winters with the header over the crossbar.
Yeah, she managed to get some separation, and Keelan's so good in the air, but ball's floated. She just couldn't get any power on it, get over it, and drive it down.
So critical for the Reign to get the first goal of the match this season. To not make themselves have to work harder than necessary. In a good spot to chase the regular season crown and a guaranteed home berth throughout the playoffs. Keelan Winters touching it down. Looking for LaRue. Under pressure is Emily Migas.
That's great work by LaRue, not to let herself be run off the ball there.
Stuck with her. Some chaos in the midfield that falls to Keelan Winters.
And more great work by Bev Goebel. You could see the forwards doing so much work to win the ball back early. It's taking some of the pressure off of that Reign backline.
Stephanie Cox looking for Jess Fishlock. Forces Nikki Marshall to concede the throw.
Yeah, I think as a rule of thumb, we'd rather be defending Nikki Marshall than Alex Morgan and Christine Sinclair.
Into LaRue. Allie Long was there. Here's Fishlock. Has a little time. Goebel wasn't able to find anyone.
Trying to be just a little too clever. She knows it. She puts her hands up. She knows she needs to hang on to that ball, find somebody else's feet, and then spin out and get herself into the box.
David, Seattle, after scoring in 3 minutes, now able to apply a little sustained pressure here in the 15th.
Well,
like
again,
what you've seen so far?
The game, you know, as we said earlier, this game means a lot to the Thorns, and so it allows the Reign knows that, and it's giving them a little bit of freedom right now.
That was too long to pick out Christine Sinclair.
The question for the Thorns is, can they get a hold of the ball, hang on to it, put Seattle under a little bit of consistent pressure, and put some doubt in their minds?
Sinclair, the reigning player of the week here in NWSL. In fact, between these two teams, I believe they've claimed 6 of the 15 Players of the Week award. Plenty of star power out here on the field. Both American and international. That's perhaps one of the bigger storylines of the NWSL at large the second season. A lot of the big foreign talent coming back to the league after staying away perhaps a bit that first season. It's really good to see the lights of Boquete out here.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a game with more talent on the field in international matches. I mean, anywhere around the world, this is as good as it gets.
LaRue, a nice one-touch pass. Comes to Cox via Kim Little. Trying to go back to LaRue. Collision course, winning out was Van Hollebeck. Alex Morgan can't even get a touch on it, as Lauren Barnes was right there on the scene.
Yeah, there's a reason Van Hollebeck's nickname was the Buelldozer when she played under her maiden name Bueller. Somehow Van Hollendozer doesn't sound as good.
I'll trust your judgment on that.
Can we still call her the Buelldozer, though?
Hope Solo enjoying a bit of time with the ball at her foot.
It's got to be hot down there on the field. It's just underneath 80 degrees here, but down on with the artificial turf, it's going to be a bit warmer. And I think the Thorns content just to let Hope sit on the ball. They know she's not going to beat them.
Naho didn't even need to do much to win that ball. Fishlock's clearance perhaps nicked off the center. And it's going to lead to a possibly dangerous chance for the Thorns. Here's Alex Morgan. Wonderful sliding challenge in from Stephanie Cox, showing that international team savvy.
Yeah, that's always dangerous when you've got a center midfielder trying to play a ball in behind and she mishits it. Jessica Fishlock mishits it, plays it square underneath, and allows all the defenders to step up facing our goal, and it's an easy counterattack.
Giveaway from Bev Goebel. Ends up not coming to anything as Bev Goebel was right there to recover and win the ball back. A little more pressure from the Thorns. The rain being perhaps a bit casual with the ball at the back. Fortunate for them, it again ends up going for naught.
Again, the Thorns will step up and pressure when they think there's an opportunity, and that's when they're at their most dangerous. Need to be a little cleaner. Lauren Barnes needs to be a little cleaner out of the back with the ball. And again,
just the individual battles at the moment going the way of the Thorns, but they haven't been able to capitalize. Indeed, they've barely had a touch in the final third.
Pardon me, that was Ellie Reed.
Solo forward, no one there. Perhaps trying to pick out LaRue. Unger's time to reset for the Thorns. Thorns followed up that 6-3 shootout against Boston with a 1-1 draw against Washington. So that ball's forward. It's going to be a dangerous opportunity for Alex Morgan. Hope Solo spills it. The follow-up effort. Very fortunate for the rain there. After Hope Solo spilled one.
And that's just a well-drilled team. As soon as the goalkeeper comes off her line for the ball, every center back should retreat right behind the goalkeeper towards the line. Christine Sinclair gets her foot on that ball and takes a shot at what should be an open goal. But there's a rain player right there to deflect it away and settle down the blood pressure of Laura Harvey.
Give credit where credit is due. That was Lauren Barnes, who was in the right place at the right time, doing well to get it away. Perhaps the biggest threat that the Thorns have posed thus far. In fact, that 1-1 midweek draw at Washington, they had to travel all the way to DC and back, is a game that allowed the result that allowed the Reign to clinch a top 2 seed for the NWSL playoffs, which means ESPN will be coming to Seattle in the end of August for at least one match. Barnes forward, right to the feet of Van Hollebeck. She's reading the passing lanes well as Van Hollebeck. You understand why they wanted to get her back on the field. She's stood in the way of 5 or 6 Reign passes already.
She has been a standout on the national team for years and years and years, and you can just see her stepping in there again. She just reads the play so well. There she is directing the back line as well to get up. She is the anchor for this Thorns back line.
Kendall Fletcher having to play it back to Solo to relieve some of the pressure. Offside flag up.
Hope not too happy with the results of having tried to knock it around the back a couple of times. Just decides, you know what, it'd be a lot better if this ball was about 60, 70 yards away from me.
Perhaps the pendulum swinging just a bit as Portland Thorns, shocked in the 3rd minute by that Sydney LaRue goal. They're starting to find their legs. Starting to come into the match just a bit. We know their quality side. Hope Solo off her line.
All these games have ebbs and flows, and you knew that the Thorn just too good a team to not take a punch and throw another punch back. So you were expecting this, and it's a question again now of how the Reign respond. Do they stay organized, or do they get a little scattered?
Unger out of the back to Menges. Ball forward, picks up Alex Morgan. Offside flag up then on the Thorns. This is perhaps a little bit more of the cagey play you would expect. The battle's really happening in the midfield. aside from that opening firework, this is sometimes what you get when you bring together two highly qualified sides.
Yeah, I mean, the Reign are going to step a little higher, but because that's the kind of ball they want Alex Morgan to receive. They want her to receive the ball facing her own goal, having to lay the ball off. What they don't want is for her to get a ball over the top, facing the Reign's goal, where she can run at Lauren Barnes.
Fishlock, who runs into Allie Long after the Reign strung a couple passes together in that center third of the park. Huffman. Touched back by Christine Sinclair. Tubokete now out to the far side. Here's Stephanie Catley getting up from her outside back position. All in, away, and clearance won't get too far because Emily Menges is there. Squared to Amber Brooks. Switching the fields to Sarah Huffman. Sliding in, getting the poke was Bev Goebel. Nikki Marshall switches the field once more. Catley's ball into the 18.
And the full house here giving their appreciation for the quality defensive play of the Reign. Keelan Winters picking that ball up and then very calmly bringing it forward.
Be nice to see the Reign get out of their own third just a bit quicker. Been a bit casual at times. Thorns have been applying pressure.
These are two of the best supported teams in the NWSL. Obviously, everything that the Thorns have been able to do down at Providence Park is just stunning, but moving here to Memorial Stadium this year has offered the Reign an opportunity to consistently get 4,000 people.
Goebel met by a Thorns tandem of Marshall and Huffman. Ends up going out for a throw. Huffman restarting play. Alex Morgan and Christine Sinclair not quite on the same page there. We know they're a dangerous duo. Morgan, 3 of her 5 goals have come from the outside of the 18. And she scores them with both of her feet. 2 with her right and 1 with her left. Foul whistled against Huffman as she was using her arms illegally, perhaps a bit too much.
The Reign have been doing a good job. I mean, the thing with the Thorns and the way they have this midfield set up, they really try and attack that area at the top of the 18. And so far, the Reign have been forcing them to play into wide spaces where they have an advantage.
And Bev Goebel did a good job as well to draw the foul. Here's Fishlock. Reign getting things moving once more, tries to find LaRue, can't quite thread the needle, goes in late. And commits the foul on Nikki Marshall.
Too bad Jess Fishlock just needed to be a little bit quicker there. The Reign did a great job to switch to the point of attack and find Jess Fishlock open in a tremendous amount of space. Didn't really take advantage of that opportunity.
It truly is a special sight to see the stadium, once rarely used for big competition, filled to the brim with screaming soccer fans. Sinclair forward, Reign keeping it off the feet of Alex Morgan, but right there is Stephanie Catley to play it inside the 18. Allie Long back to goal, runs toward the corner flag before she tries to drop. Good job by the Reign to recover and clear. LaRue interested in applying a bit of pressure. That is relieved by the pass back to Ungerer. Only goal coming back in the 3rd minute, Sydney LaRue. Very, very hard angle shot from the left. 8 yards out or so, near the edge of the 6. Just beat Nadine Ungerer to the post. Reign with the throw. Fishlock winning that challenge. Here's Keelan Winters. 2 arms on the back, and that will be a foul. The captain, Christine Sinclair, knowing what she was doing on that occasion. And we'll get a little talking to from Boris Sinek as a result.
It might be just a touch of payback for the tackle that she had on Vera Bouquet.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly hard tackle, but it certainly was a professional one. Barnes all the way back to Hope Solo. Fletcher, ball forward, trying to pick out Naho. Takes it right off the feet of a Thorns defender. Has it at the top of the 18. Shot just over the corner post of the Thorns goal. What a piece of skill from Naho.
That's absolutely right. I mean, the Thorns thought that they had no problem. They'd cut that ball over the top, and Naho just slips underneath her, picks the ball up off of her foot, brings the ball onto her left foot. And she looks to go high on Nadine Unger, but can't quite find the back of the net.
It's been a somewhat recurring theme from the Thorns, having issues when pressed at the back. Huffman to Boquete and forward. Picking out Christine Sinclair from the edge of the 18 for the far side of the 18.
That's great recovery by the Reign.
Alex Morgan tried to flick it into danger.
All the Reign defenders concentrating around the top of the box. They knew that Christine Sinclair wasn't going to carry that ball in herself. They let Jess Fishlock track her back and apply light pressure from the back. Made sure that they had everybody locked up on the back post. So Alex Morgan's header back across falls harmlessly in front of the back line.
Perhaps an interesting omission from the Portland Thorns starting 11 is number 14, Jessica McDonald, who spent time playing for Seattle. She's tied for the league lead in goals with 11. Any idea why that change may have been made?
Yeah, I having not talked to Paul Riley, I'm not entirely sure why she would be left out. Obviously, she's a very dangerous player. We could see her in the second half. My guess is it has just got to be fatigue. They've had a lot of games. It's getting hot.
Sinclair to Hoffman, and she is known for her speed, so clearly she runs a lot. Set up at the top of the 18. It's unable to get through. Wonderful job sliding in by Ellie Reed, and she gets her deserved plaudits from the Reign faithful.
It's a great delayed run by Vero Boquete, but that's not really how she scores her goals from 20, 25 yards out. She needs to get herself into the box. But the Reign have got to be looking around thinking who needs to be tracking her, because she can't ever be free on the field.
Nikki Marshall now. Reign appealing for the throw-in after Bev Goval applied pressure, not given. Huffman instructed to march back a few yards and a few more yards. Now the throw will come in. Steph Cox accidentally nicked off her arm. Duly given free kick to the Thorns. Half hour gone now in this match, 1/3 time. Reign lead by a goal to 0. Good work by Lauren Barnes at the back. Cox with the clearance, doesn't stay in.
Thorns are certainly creating their fair share of chances. They just haven't been able to get past what seems to be a very resilient Reign backline at this point. But when the Thorns get going, they can come in bunches. They've got 14 goals in their last 3 games and lead the league with 38.
Seems like it's been feast or famine for the Thorns this season. They have games where the goals come in bunches, and others where they struggle to find the net. There's Kim Little.
It's a tremendous ball and a tremendous run by Bev Goebel.
Can't quite get it though before it runs across.
I think she's going to run over and ask Sydney Leroux if she can borrow just a little bit of her pace so she can catch up to that ball.
I think almost any team on this field, or any player on this field, wouldn't mind having a bit of Sydney Leroux's pace. She will run teams ragged, especially teams that haven't had much rest. On by Amber Brooks. Back for the Reign is Kendall Fletcher. So though not much to do so far. Rising and winning that was Amber Brooks. Fell for Barnes. Had to dance away a bit from Alex Morgan. She has been active with the ball at her feet, however, has Hope Solo, even though she hasn't been really called upon to make saves. Running the ball at midfield was Menges. Fishlock unable to recollect, so it was Allie Long over the near side for Huffman.
It's not a fair fight for a ball in the air with Christine Sinclair and Jess Fishlock, I'm afraid.
Huffman to Veronica Boquete. Vera, her nickname on the Vero, pardon me, nickname on the back of her jersey.
And that's a great job by the Reign collectively to force her to play backwards. They're forcing her wide. Look, she's getting the ball out by the touchline. She's having to play the ball backwards. She is at her best when she's in the middle of the park, the ball at her feet looking to play forwards. So good job by the Reign and Bev Goebel to work back and force her into an uncomfortable situation.
And Keelan Winters just winning out over Alex Morgan. Naho tries to duck and turn, gets a touch. And that was all.
It's a great first touch by Sydney. She couldn't quite step to the ball fast enough to latch onto it before it rolled out to Unger.
Thank you, yes, Sydney LaRue. Reign with the throw once more. Fletcher away.
It's classy work by Kendall on the ball there. Realizing that the Thorns wanted to step and didn't want to play a Hope solo, she spins out and plays the ball up there. Up the lines. Reign can live another day.
Menges looking for Alex Morgan. There was Fletcher once more. Good work to run onto that one by Kendall Fletcher. There's Nikki Marshall. Pressure from Bev Goebel. And just went out, find Kim Little. She ran head on into Allie Long. Resulting attempt to switch by Huffman out for a Reign throw. Kim Little, who just mentioned, has won Player of the Month award 2 out of the 3 months the award has been given this season. Tied for that golden boot chase. LaRue back to Winters. Here's Cox. Forward turning away was Bev Goebel. Back to Cox. Goebel and Little doing a nice little give and go. Advantage played as Goebel is fouled. Here's Little inside the 18, toward the top of the 6. Forrest with her back to goal now. Tries to spin away and feed a ball across. Slide tackle by LaRue. The follow-up shot by Naho. The header by LaRue off the line. Nothing doing. Reign are appealing for something, or perhaps just a disbelief that they could not find a goal.
That really looked like a handball. Her arm was separated from her body. Want to see a replay on that one because it certainly looked like that ball came off her hip and into her hand.
Some wonderful efforts out there. The likes of Bev Goebel and Sydney LaRue and Naho.
A golden chance for the Reign.
Back heel by LaRue to try to pick out Goebel. Slide tackles to keep it in to LaRue. Toward the top of the 6, tries to get away from Unger. Unger, did she get the ball or did she get the player? The ball, says the center official, Boris Tinik. You can hear what the Reign fans think of that.
Yeah, but he was right on top of it. I think
was.
Unger came out really, really strong, got her hands on the ball, and just as a consequence, Sydney goes over the top of her, but I think that was well done.
Yes, agreed, David.
2 great chances, though, back-to-back for the Reign.
And all from very in tight, playing right on top of that 6. Allie Long swarmed by 3 Reign players. Cox and Fishlock doing the duty.
You notice that most of the Reign's joy is coming down this left side, down Beverly Goebel's side, when she checks back to the ball, holds it up, and then Kim Little gets in behind her, Sydney LaRue gets in behind her.
She had the game-winning assist in the first fixture against Portland, and putting forth a really good showing here tonight. Kim Little tries to play direct to Naho. Out of her box is Unger to clear.
Naho made a brilliant ghosting run on the back shoulder of the outside defender. Everybody's heads focused over here on the left side of the Reign, left side of the field as the Reign's going forward. She goes in on the back, and the ball just was not hit well enough in front of her. Otherwise, she's in by herself into the Thorns 18-yard box.
After a bit of a dry spell, this game coming to life again here in the past 5 minutes or so. Both teams have had ample chances, just one has been finished. LaRue to Little. Under pressure. Amber Brooks all over her. Little comes away.
Kim so strong. Amber Brooks throwing out her hands like, what do I have to do to get the ball off of her?
Kendall Fletcher tries to go via Ellie Reed up to Naho. It's out for a throw. Trying to work that right flank a bit more. And there's handling for sure.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of question about that one at all.
Perhaps we can dig up highlights of that other controversial call early to show you at halftime. Very, very good chances back to back from very tight near Ungerer's goal. Bev Goebel plays a great ball to Jess Fishlock through the legs of Ungerer and over the byline for a corner.
Well, the Thorns would have been hearing about that for a while from the fans if that had gone in. Terrific in-cutting run by Bev Goebel underneath to hold it, and then a slashing run through the middle for Jess Fishlock. Completely free in space. She goes 5-hole on Nadine Unger, just gets on enough of it to trickle it out of bounds.
I was just about to use the term 5-hole to borrow from the hockey linguistics, because that's exactly what that was. Here comes the outswinger. Low driving. Winters not quite able to get ahead on it. Back is LaRue to collect. She'll let it run out for the throw. Another good chance for the Reign. Stephanie Cox with the throw. Clarence only gets as far as Keelan Winters. She was the featured player before the match on the pregame show. We have one more Levy Films coming up for you at halftime, a feature on Naho. Naomi Kawasumi, tremendous player from the island nation of Japan. LaRue unable to spin away from Nikki Marshall. Cox right there to take the throw, to intercept the throw, and up to Kim Little. She's got a couple numbers running with her. Diagonal run being made. She decides to go far post. No! In the back of the net! Reign lead 2-0.
Kim Little is flat out torturing the Thorns right now. She collects the ball underneath and then just flies past the Thorns back line. Serves a perfect left-footed ball to Kawasumi, again, completely unmarked at the back post. Here she is, floats it in, sees Naho's run, just drops a teardrop assist, and Naho buries it in the upper corner.
We just talk about how she's coming up on the halftime show and what a deserved feature after that gem of a header over the outstretched arms of Nadine Ungerer, and the Reign double their advantage in the 39th.
She's such a special player. She's at her most dangerous when the ball's on the other side of the field. You can't lose sight of her for a minute.
The Thorns forced to restart play once more. For the third time in this half, they did have the first kick. And the Reign doing everything they can to restore some order after they lost the Derby 4 times last year, never by more than 2 goals. This year already up 1 in the Derby, 1-0 result at Portland. Even more critically, trying to take home the regular season championship crown. Here's LaRue, tries to feed Goebel. Good job by Nikki Marshall to step in.
It's great patience by Sid LaRue. She gets the ball. She could have gone at goal, but she realizes that if she holds it up, one of her teammates will come join her. Bev Goebel makes a good run across the back line of the Thorns.
A little pressure off the set piece. Lauren Bard's doing the shielding work. That set piece coming because Ellie Reed knew that she had to stop the Portland counter.
Strong work by Hope Solar to come out and collect that.
Appeared to be Alex Morgan who was bearing down.
Again, the Thorns midfield playing so narrow, allowing Ellie Reed to step up and attack that space on the flank. It's going to be there all day long with the way the Thorns want to play. Have to see whether they make an adjustment at halftime because it's giving them fits right now.
Naho back.
Thorns outside backs are just too isolated.
Tries to pick up Jess Fishlock. She's all over Emily Menges. Now LaRue having a crack at Menges. The pressure works for the Reign once more. Stephanie Catley unable to keep it in. Perhaps some room to switch. They're going to go inside. Trying to pick up Bev Goebel perhaps, but I think she knew she was offside.
Thorns have got to be concerned right now with the way the Reigns movement is pulling their back line apart. The back line's starting to look a little bit tired. And in the back of their minds, they got to be thinking, isn't that Megan Rapinoe sitting over on the bench?
Alex Morgan was just trying, good point, David, was trying to pick out Christine Sinclair. They haven't been able to connect today, and that's been a big part of their game since Alex Morgan got healthy in June. And the Reign have really done a good job disrupting that very, very powerful tandem up top.
Yeah, so far they haven't gotten any service. Everything has been long, and with the Reign defenders in good positions. Lauren Bard and Kendall Fletcher just sitting inside of them again, making them come back underneath, not letting them collect the ball facing the Reign's goal.
LaRue to Fishlock. Not able to connect with Goebel. We've talked a lot about what necessarily hasn't gone right for Portland. But they have 15 minutes in the locker room between half, and Paul Riley, you know he's going to have some words for his players. You're a coach. What do you tell them?
Well, I think they need to possess the ball higher up the field. I don't think the early balls that they've tried to play have worked out particularly well. They need to get the ball off of their outside back's feet, that's for sure, and find a way to get Vera Boquete on the ball higher than the center circle.
Sarah Huffman looking forward. Alex Morgan applying the pressure. Good sure-footed clearance from Kendall Fletcher.
The other question I would have is, how do I get Allie Long more involved?
Yeah, we haven't called her name much at all. Here's Huffman.
She's usually very good about drifting into spaces and playing attacking balls in at angles.
Again, stay with us at halftime. Levy Films special presentation highlighting another Reign superstar. Caitlin Winters off her head out. Huffman with perhaps to try a long throw now with 3 or 4 Thorns lurking in the 18. Winters again able to away, but only as far as Huffman. Left-footed in, ball into the 18. Aho doing some defending as well. LaRue effectuating the clearance. That will give the Reign a chance to regroup.
But you can see why the Thorns are struggling going forward right now, because when they do work possession high, they're forced wide, and they're not really a serve and finish team, right? They need the ball facing the goal. Alex Morgan's the kind of player who wants the ball at her feet, facing the goal. Christine Sinclair runs onto balls and finishes balls with her feet, despite her great athleticism. Good
job by Lauren Barnes to intercept that ball forward from Sarah Huffman. Then a resulting challenge sends Stephanie Cox to this hot turf. Nearing half-time.
I think that's just a little bit of tired legs right there and a little bit of frustration from Allie Long.
Yeah, the tired legs playing a role in this match. Everyone knows the Thorns are a good side. Perhaps they'll come to life in the second half. Still plenty of time left. And it's not all doom and gloom for them, as 2 minutes are indicated by the fourth official for added time in the first half. They are currently, as they sit, in a playoff position, and they do look poised to remain in that position. It's just a matter of whether they get the home match.
The other thing I'd be looking for if I was the Thorns is, how do I get Vera Boquete the ball higher?
That's a wonderful ball forward from Fishlock, trying to pick up Kim Little, trying to hold off the Thorns defender, but Emily Menges doing a good job to recover, because that was a dangerous run.
It's a great subtle use of body by Menges. She makes sure she gets her body into Kim Little, doesn't let her take a direct line to the ball. Little's able to run onto the ball. It's good night.
Reign now have to work out of their back. They're unable to do so, as it calls for Keelan Winters to Fishlock over the near side for Steph Cox. Tries a floater toward the far post.
Yeah, she didn't quite wrap her foot around it and drive through it. She cut underneath it, that gave it that spin that took it right into Unger's hands.
Again, into stoppage time here in the first half. Reign lead on the strength of 2 goals, one from Sydney LaRue in the third, and one from Naho, the 39th. A wonderfully headed finish off of a perfect service from Kim Little.
You don't look at Naho and say she's going to score a lot of goals with her head, but I think that's her second or third this season already.
She's shown to be a truly complete player, even coming back and helping out with defending on several occasions. Huffman losing out to Cox, and Winters is going to have to help clear Good job by Huffman to win the ball back. Here's Alex Morgan near the top of the 18. You know she's dangerous here. Scored 3 times from about this exact position. Gets a shot off. And there was Hope Solo to make the save.
And if she's going to get the ball in that position and take a shot, you want it to be under duress. She had 2 players, including Jess Fishlock, running at her. There's never going to be much of anything in that.
Halftime whistles from Borisinik, and real quick, what's your impression of this first half?
Well, you know, you expected this game to come and go in waves, and obviously the Thorns started out with that great right off the kickoff, getting the pressure on the Reign. But the Reign have been very, very patient, done a great job of exploiting the spaces on the outside, isolating the outside backs on the Thorn and just torching them. On the other end of the field, they haven't the Thorns haven't really been able to get any sort of their combinations going at the top of the box. They're so good when they can play 1 and 2 touch at the top of the box, and they're not getting any opportunities to do that.
Well, that's it. You see it on the screen. It's halftime, and the current table leaders leading the defending champions from Portland. 2-0, 45 minutes still to come. But first, special presentation from Levy Films featuring number 9, goal scorer in the 39th minute, Nahomi Kawasumi. Will be back after halftime here from Memorial Stadium.
What would you tell your people back in Japan about the Seattle Reign and this league? How has it been for your game and the quality? Which players maybe have impressed you, or any differences?
Seattle is a very balanced team, so there's no weakness in position.
だから本当にやってて楽しいし、
I really enjoy it. Enjoy playing with them.
だからこうもちろん個々でこの人が上手いって
I
い
know we
う
have star players, but each position, the players know their strength, and they use that for their position.
For most people of college.
Who's closest to you in the world?
家族ももちろんだし、やっ
My
ぱり
family.
やっぱり仲間っていうのは自分の中ではすごく大事。
My teammates, it's very important to me.
Here you are, a half a world away or an ocean away from your home. And what would you say to your family, to your parents?
結婚もしないでね、こんなとこでサッカーしてて、多分両親はちょっと大丈夫かって思ってると思うけど。
I'm pretty sure they're worried because I'm not married and I'm here in America playing soccer.
Everybody's family experience is different. And obviously you love your family very much. But in your family, do you tell each other that you love each other?
日本人はあんまりそういうことを口に出して言わないです。あんまりっていうか言わない。
We probably don't say much, and that's Japanese culture, maybe.
だからハグとかもしないし、
I don't hug my parents,
みんなそ
and I think it's for everybody in Japan.
Is that okay?
う、愛してるっていう文化がない。やっぱり愛してるは恋人に言う言葉。
Love, the word love, we don't use it for the family. I think it's just for like a boyfriend or something like that.
But do you want to have kids of your own?
欲しい。
And do you think that you will be the same with them?
両親になった時に。
両親になった時にっていうスキンシップがないから、多分子供は育っていくうちに大きくなってくるとそれがちょっとこう恥ずかしくなってくるっていうのは絶対あると思う。
I think in Japanese culture, when they're young, they have more skinship between parents and kids, but when they get older, they become shy for them to do like hugs and saying I love you.
やっぱり友達同士でもハグするっていう 文化がないから、
Even
まあやっぱちょ
between
っと違う。
friends, we don't really hug each other.
でも私はアメリカのスタイルもすごく好き。
But I like American style. So.
You had an ACL injury, and I'm sure, and you didn't make your junior high school team. So was it the love that you're saying that it was the love of the game that kept you going?
スポーツのあれだけで
う
できたんで
ん
すか？
本当にとにかくそのいろんな人が言う壁だったり試練っていうの、そういうこ
With
と
those obstacles, I'm always positive. So I just don't have any negative image in my head.
Is that natural?
Yeah.
Or did, you've always been that way?
いつもそう。小さい時からいつもそうでした。だから
I think I was that way, even when I was little.
You know, all the other players, athletes in general, tell me that part of being a professional is riding the ups and downs, that it's very difficult, and that it is inevitable to have emotional difficulties at times, that it is normal and human.
普通だと思う。
But you don't have those.
でも、あなたは何ですか？
ない。
That is a tremendous power.
そう私もこれは、なんでだろう。
I don't even know why.
そう悪い方に物事を考えれない。
I just can't think negatively.
だからやっぱり怪我は絶対しない方がいい。
I know I don't want to get injured, but when I get injured, the fact that I got injured cannot be changed. So then I want to make that experience as positive as possible as a human being and as a soccer player.
Wow. So last one. Let's see how you can do with this question, because it's a simple question, but also a difficult question. And I think difficult to look deeply is why is football great? Why do you love it?
なんでサッカーはしてるんですか？
それがわからないけど、それがサッカーの魅力なんだと思う。
I don't know the answer to that question, and that's why it's a beautiful game.
Welcome back to Moda Health Pitch at Memorial Stadium in Seattle, Washington. Seattle Reign FC leading Portland Thorns 2-0 at halftime. Landon Ruckert alongside David Wharton. David, a very intriguing, very enjoyable, very fast first half.
Well, it certainly has been enjoyable for the Reign fans, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens here in the second half. You can see that Megan Rapinoe is warming up emphatically on the side. The side here, you're going to be seeing her at some point. You got to assume that it's been kind of like a U8 bench over there with next to Laura Harvey saying, "Coach, when can I go in? When can I go in? When can I go in?" And for the Thorns, I just think they got to sort out their midfield. I'm a kind of an old school coach that way. I think that the way you win games is to dominate in central midfield, and you would expect that with that diamond that the Thorns play, that they would have an overload in the center of midfield against the Reign's triangle. But that the forwards, LaRue, Goebel, Kawasumi have all done such a good job of checking back into midfield and providing support that really hasn't materialized. I think the Thorns have got to find a way to stretch that triangle out for the Reign if they're going to find any way to get the ball higher up the field and feed Sinclair and feed Morgan facing their own goal.
On the other side of the ball, yeah, the Reign had a very solid first half, but we've heard Coach Harvey say after their last match that ended in a draw, 1-1 draw against Chicago. They played a very, very good first half, but it wilted a little bit in the second half. They took their foot off the pedal a bit in the second half, as you see Rapinoe warming up on your screen. David, how does Coach Laura Harvey keep her team from letting that happen again?
Well, Megan Rapinoe will help. I think that's it's great to have that weapon coming off the bench for sure, because her pace, her inventiveness, and her creativity would be a tremendous asset in this game. However, the other thing is that you got to remember that they've had almost a week's rest before coming into this game. I think their legs will be fresher. I just in a rivalry game like this, it's going to be hard for them to have as much of a letdown. And I think that last game for them against the last two games for them against the Red Stars have both been sort of a cautionary tale for them. And I think that's got to be probably half of Laura Harvey's halftime talk has been how they cannot let down.
Well, the players from both teams now retaking the Moda Health pitch as we're getting set for the second 45 in front of a near capacity crowd. Let's call it a capacity crowd. This place is packed, as you have been able to see throughout the first half. There's a good shot of the crowd. Still not all in their seats, mind you. They're still returning from their halftime snack, and it still looks quite full. Good to see here in Seattle. Just a quick rundown once more of the goal scorers. Sydney LaRue banked her first in the 3rd minute. That was her 4th goal of the season. And Naomi Kawasumi banked her 6th of the season in the 39th minute off of her head, and for which Kim Little was awarded her 4th assist. So more of the same, you think, from the Reign?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, again, the question is what shape is the Thorns midfield going to come out in? Otherwise, look for them to move the ball side to side, force the Thorns to do a lot of chasing, and try to wear them down a little bit, and then see again if they can get Kim Little isolated on the outside, see if they can get Kawasumi drifting in on the back post. Thorns haven't shown an ability to track them. I don't know why you wouldn't try to exploit that, but I think they'll also probably be a little more patient out of the back.
These two teams will meet once more to end the regular season. That will be one of ESPN's game, I believe on ESPN 3 on August 17th. Between then, the Reign still have a gauntlet, if you will. They have 2 matches within the space of the week on the road at Houston and Kansas City before returning once more to play Houston on 4 days rests, and then Washington on 3 days rests, and then they finally get a week's rest before traveling to Portland. So with that in mind, David, knowing how intense this final couple week stretch is for the Reign, does Coach Laura Harvey, at what point does she think, okay, I got to make sure our players are healthy so they don't get worn down during what is a crazy run-in for Seattle Reign?
Well, she's got to be thinking about those next games, but she's also got to be thinking, hey, we've got a pretty good lead in the league, and if we can seal the points up right here and now, that's going to be worth a lot more to us than saving anything for later on. It's the Thorns who really can't afford to let this game get away from them, though. They've got to ratchet up the intensity. They've got to see if they can get a couple of quick goals like they did against Boston Breakers down in Portland last week.
45 minutes to go here in this clash of giants in the NWSL as we are underway once more. Rain immediately playing it forward, away by Menges. So looks like a substitution being indicated by the fourth official. Haven't heard any announcement, have you, David?
Have not yet.
Shot from distance won't get through. It will be going out for a corner.
It looks like Rachel Van Hollenbeck has come out. And
Bit tough for us to see the fourth official from our vantage point. Here it is. So Jessica McDonald, tied for the league lead in goal, replaces Rachel Van Hollenbeck, the defender, as the corner is very dangerous. Back to goal. It's still inside the mixer. Getting a foot to it was Nikki Marshall at the last, and playing it out off a Rain defender for another corner kick.
well, and there's your answer. The Thorns have decided to go 3 at the back, step another player forward because they know they need to get a goal, and it almost pays off right away. A frightening mirror image of the goal that was scored early on against the Breakers last weekend.
Vero walked the ball over the corner flag. Now she's going to leave it. Looks like the Rain are going to enjoy the short option. Here's Veronica Boquete. Has it on her left foot now. Has a crack at goal. Whizzes right over the upper 90 for a goal kick. And man, that was close.
And again, that's where she's so dangerous. If she can get the ball near the top of the box, she can weave it back and forth, force the defender to overcommit, and open up that space to play a ball in. That time she decides to go for the shot. And again, Laura Harvey's blood pressure's got to be a little high coming out of halftime and allowing 2 quality looks at goal right away.
What a job by the Spanish star to get that ball on her left foot and hit a cracking shot. Didn't miss by much. Wonder also if the sub has anything to do with the knock Van Hollenbeck took early on in the first half, or if it was just straight tactics.
Yeah, you hope it was only a tactical change. You hope it was just because they decided to go 3 at the back, but a little bit surprising to choose Rachel Van Hollenbeck as the player to come out. Maybe she is feeling the after effects. You know, those head injuries don't do well in the heat. They don't heat and a knock in the head, not a good combination.
Down to Sinclair. Switching the field. All the way over to Catley. Closing her down. Unable to, as look out Alex Morgan, and but Rain able to clear. Wasumi up the near side.
And you're going to see more of this now with Thorns playing 3 at the back. Sydney LaRue isolated.
Square ball, picking out Kim Little. Switching it once more. Oh my word! I say Naho with the screamer off the brilliant cross. 3-0 to the Rain.
And that is just great composure. Sydney LaRue drifts across, allows Kim Little to get forward. Kim Little squares the ball up, and Naho again drifting in on the backside. Brings the ball down with just with just Angerer to beat. She buries it far side. Angerer had no chance whatsoever.
Naho Kawasumi on the short list for player of this match. What a screamer she ripped. Just managed to get into space inside that 18 and was ruthless with her follow through.
She's just so technically clean. You give her a chance like that, a look at goal like that, she's going to finish it every single time.
Naho with the brace then as play restarts. Portland Thorns are going to quickly go weary of having to restart play from that center dot.
That was exactly not what the Thorns wanted to see coming out of the half. They did a great job to generate pressure right away, but then give up a goal, bang, on the other end of the field.
Good work by Steph Cox there to win the ball for the Rain. Go right back. Far side, some congestion, and Kaylin Winters gets a boot to it. Not past Emily Menges to Ali Long. She's forced to retreat all the way back to Nadine Angerer. Ball now is leaked past her thrice in the span of 50 minutes. Temperature is perfect for observing a match of this caliber. perhaps not so perfect for the players on the synthetic pitch.
I remember coaching a game on a pitch like this, and our goalkeeper never touched the ball and still had heat exhaustion afterward just from standing there.
Gets really hot under your feet, under your boots. Ali Long running onto that. Loose ball in the midfield, played over the top. Hope Solo has to be strong off our line. Christine Sinclair trying to get after it.
Goalkeeper's not always known as the fastest players, but Hope's showing that she's got great acceleration to make a late decision, get out to that ball, and collect it.
She's quite athletic. Just called upon twice to make fairly easy saves in that first half.
And she had that one that she spilled kind of back out, made it a little more exciting than it needed to be, but she's done a really good job coming off of her line and picking up balls as they come through the 18. You're sort of seeing a contrast in styles. Unger likes to start higher to intercept balls out in that space. Hope likes to hold her line a little bit and then come out late.
Unger on the other side was awarded 3 saves in that first half. And here's a surprising thing, the Rain out shooting, Portland out shooting the Rain. I shouldn't say that's surprising. The Thorns take a lot of shots. They lead the league in virtually every shooting category. Here's a bad giveaway for Naho Kawasumi. Turns, has a crack from the top of the 18. Good piece of skill to get open and get a shot off. This time, that wasn't going to beat Unger.
Yeah, when she's broken free twice towards the center of the field, the ball on her left foot, and it's clearly not her favored foot. She's willing to take a shot, and she does the right thing, but it winds up being easy catching practice for Nadine Unger.
2 balls on the pitch, so Catley will get to take the throw once more. Picks out the substitute McDonald. She's got a lot of pace. This time doesn't use her pace, uses her elbow. Sends Kawasumi down for a Rain free kick. McDonald, as we mentioned, a former player for Seattle Rain FC and for Chicago Red Stars, getting around the league a bit. Fletcher forward, picking out LaRue. Good first touch to bring it down. Getting the boot in was Emily Menges. At a crucial juncture as well. Ella Reed, will she look long? Just him to Naho on the edge of the 18. Back out to Reed. Being hassled by McDonald. Still manages to get a ball toward the top of the 18. Good job cleaning up that mess was Amber Brooks. You know, David, actually the second half starting an awful like the first half. Very quick goal from the Rain. And this one came after Portland Thorns had 2 or 3 really, really good looks.
Yeah, like I said, it was almost a dream start for the Thorns, but it quickly turned into a nightmare. And again, it's just great composure by the Rain. They don't let the pressure get to them. And then explode forward when they can.
Sorry about that, David. Rokete was swarmed as soon as she got on the ball.
Yeah, the Rain's marching orders are clearly not to let her have any time or space on the ball.
Moment it approached her, 3 Rain midfielders and defenders swarmed and won back possession. Here's Winters.
And I know it's one thing as a coach to say that, it's another thing for the players to actually do it against a player who's that talented. Credit to the Rain for multiple players concentrating on her and being aware of where she is at all times.
Ellie Reed tried to pick out Naho, not quite on the same page. Naho raising her hand in acknowledgement that probably was the run she should have made. Now you're about to hear the crowd get very, very loud for the introduction of Megan Rapinoe, appearing for just the 4th time this season, still working her way back to fitness.
Bev Goebel coming off. She's done a great job holding the ball up on her side, trying to get in behind from time to time.
There it is. Listen to that.
That's certainly running the Thorns back line ragged. And now you got to deal with Megan Rapinoe.
Bev Goebel's day is done. And as you mentioned, a good day it was. Megan Rapinoe, just a very big personality for the Rain. Crowd favorite.
I've been really impressed though with Bev Goebel. She's not the kind of player who just shines off the pitch like like a superstar, like some of the incredible things that you see players like Kim Little or Vera Boquete do. But she always does the hard work. She's always going to put in a good hard shift. She's always going to make the other team work. She's always going to be smart with the ball.
A little confusion there, perhaps between Fishlock and Kendall Fletcher. Brooks forward. Good run through the midfield by the captain, Sinclair. Out to the near side, here's Cadley. Does it up to Alex Morgan, superstar in her own right. Back to Cadley. Chance to hit it in with her left foot. Right there to block it was Kendall Fletcher. And the deflection comes all the way out to Sydney LaRue, who turns on the afterburners and becomes a slip and slide, sending Thorns defenders every which way. Ends up going down with minimal contact, and the Thorns recoup.
Phenomenal turn by Sydney LaRue to get in behind and then try to explode away. But I think it was just a little too much field for her to try and cover all by herself with 4 Thorns players closing on her.
Here's Little turning in her own right, streaking forward. Very good job by Emily Menges to get the boot in. Ball swinging toward the far post, header, and the back of the net. Welcome to this game, Megan Rapinoe. 4-0 to the Reign.
Naho Kawasumi on the receiving end of 2 balls like that already in the game. Turns provider, Megan Rapinoe drifting onto the back post. Very similar, and then completely unmarked at the back post. Heads it in, bulges the back of the net.
There's the Nawasumi cross, just brilliant. Rapinoe giving way too much space. Oh, fantastic flick toward goal.
For the Thorns, you just never like to see an outside backpedaling on a ball like that. You know it's over her head. Rapinoe gets a chance to step forward and hit it with authority. There's enough power on it that she can just drive it near post. And again, Unger left helpless.
Second goal in just her 4th appearance this season for Rapinoe. The fans here getting what they wanted. Not only seeing her play, but seeing her score. And the route is on. Here's Fishlock. Gonna try to pick out Naho once more. Ran too long this time. Unger urging her team forward.
No, there isn't a single goalkeeper who likes to give up 4 goals no matter who you're facing.
And that's only amplified when you're playing your rival, particularly in this case. The Reign making what I think you could call a needed statement against a top team in the NWSL after, it's hard to say a bad run of form because it wasn't, but a not so stellar run of form, we shall say, against specifically against Chicago Red Stars.
Well, you can't say that the Reign have been complacent, but you knew that run of fantastic form couldn't go throughout the entire season. It's just too long. The players you're playing against in the NWSL are just too good to allow that to happen. And so, if you're going to let that happen, have it happen when you've pretty much secured a playoff spot is not a bad time. But it also seems to have acted as an inspiration for the players as they get to the tail end of the season. They clearly want to lock up that first place. They're showing it here tonight.
You ask any player on this roster, any coach on the staff, they will say that they have done nothing yet. Those are their exact words. They're happy with their success, but their sights are set much higher than just a playoff berth.
Well, and this team, I think they want to do it in a certain way as well. It's not just that they want to win. It's not just that they want to finish first. It's they want to do it in dominating in style.
Pressure from Rapinoe trying to force a giveaway. I think the referee called a foul. Rapinoe not too happy about that. Just want to point out a moment ago, Sydney LaRue, we're almost an hour in on a fairly warm day. She's still sprinting at Unger to try to force whatever advantage she can get. There's Allie Long over to the near side to pick out Sinclair. Gets it on a right foot, save! What a wonderful left-handed save by Hope Solo. Perhaps a little missided as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And the Thorns are starting to find some more joy in that midfield. They're moved to almost what looks like a 3 front with McDonald up top alongside Sinclair, and they managed to find Sinclair wide. They're starting to find more space in midfield, just like we talked about at halftime. And Hope Solo does a great job to palm that ball wide of the far post.
And she hasn't had much to do, so how hard is that to get in the game on a moment's notice as corner is headed toward goal. Oh, on the turn, skied over the crossbar by Amber Brooks. To finish that thought, how hard is that? Oh, it took a deflection, pardon me. That explains why it popped so high in the air. I wasn't sure how she could kick it that high.
It's a goalkeeper's job.
Yes.
It's a goalkeeper's job to be ready for things like that. We, I joke with Amy Griffin, the goalkeeper coach and associate head coach of the University of Washington all the time about it. It's always in the last 5 minutes of a game where you haven't touched the ball. Suddenly there's a breakaway and you're called upon to save every.
Allie Long's ball in toward the far post. Ahead, got on that by Jessica McDonald over the crossbar. Not a bad look by McDonald, using that tall frame of hers to get something on it.
Well, and the Thorns mindset right now is, look, let's just get one. You can't score 4 goals at once, so let's just get one at a time and then see if we can fight our way back into this game. There's plenty of time left in this game. And we know we're a quality side. We know there's got to be a way to that we can make this game competitive again.
It's a tall ask, though. 4 goals in the space of a half hour, but weirder things have happened.
And if there's a team in the NWSL that can do it, it should be a team that has Christine Sinclair, Alex Morgan, and Vera Boquete on it.
It would be Portland with that firepower on that team. They put up 6 goals against Boston not too long ago. It's a good point, David.
Well, and 7 goals the game before that.
Yes, yes. If anyone could put up 4 in the space of a half hour, it would be this Portland team.
Yeah, they shouldn't be lacking for confidence here.
Though also they shouldn't be lacking for tired legs. It's part of this equation as well, you have to say. Here's Morgan, works her way into the 18, gets it on her left, tries to get it in.
If they can get a couple of good chances, though, that always gives you that energy. If you feel like there's something in front of you can fight for, that always gives you just that little bit of extra.
It looks like Sydney LaRue over on the bench, perhaps getting tended to for a bloody nose. Got bumped into at some point. Appears to be okay. A warrior if there ever was one. That'll just be a battle wound when it's a bruise tomorrow. Solo's goal kick doesn't get very far as Amber Brooks was right there. Ellie Reed lays it square. Working out of the back are the Reign. Here's Rapinoe, the most recent goal scorers. Foul.
Thought for a second he wasn't going to call that. Clearly Kim Lill gets run over the back of.
Good little bump, you might say. A little nudge.
Referee's just waiting a minute to see whether or not it drifted through to anybody in a dangerous position and bringing it back.
4 goals scored by 3 players for the Reign here thus far. LaRue with 1 and Naho with the brace. And as I just mentioned, Rapinoe with the most recent one. Naho 2 goals plus an assist. Kim Little also with an assist to round out our scoring thus far.
Boquete trying to feed Alex Morgan, again facing her own goal, running at the goal the way you want her to, but it just didn't read it. She thought she was going outside, and Alex crossed her up and ran inside.
Fletcher, ball played in the middle of the park, touchdown by Little to Winters. There's Kim Little. Feeds Rapinoe. Has options on either side, as well as the middle option, decides the touchline side option of Stephanie Cox, who earns the Reign another corner.
Well, the Thorns defenders, they've got to honor Megan Rapinoe because she's so clever on the ball and so dangerous with it. But Stephanie Cox does such a great job of getting up the left flank there, as she always does. And Megan honoring that run with a nice clean ball for her to serve in.
Good to see Stephanie Cox working her way up and getting involved in the attack. Such a skilled player in defense. Corner to the Reign. Floats away. Hey, a crack from Lauren Barnes is blocked. She's feeling some confidence as well.
Jess Fishlock felt she got pushed down in the box, but at this stage of the game, with the scoreline being what it is, she's not going to get that call.
Ellie Reed fouling Boquete. Yeah, there was definitely a little shove off. Whether it was enough contact anyways, I don't know. But situationally, you're dead on. Reign still pressing. Here's Amber Brooks. Not letting off the gas on this occasion. Deflected shot on goal, and
see that the Thorns are playing with a great deal more width, and that it is stretching out the reins side to side.
Alex Morgan looks a little shaken up after that shot. She sits right back. Yeah, she's really struggling a bit out there.
She's been dealing with a knock all season. She's only just come back, and it may just be a slight twinge or recurrence of the.
It's never good to see a player go down without contact. This time it was only contact with the ball.
This turf can get a little sticky when it's warm. And it can just be a quick change of direction. Those accelerations and decelerations put a lot of stress on the joints.
She's back up, appears to be okay at the moment. Got to know Portland's going to make a playoff run, so I'm sure that wasn't something Thorns fans want to see. There is still a bigger picture, as we have been talking about. Here's Stephanie Cox. They deployed in. It was Amber Brooks.
That's what Paul Riley's got to weigh in his mind right now. What's the value of trying to get back in this game right this second versus having Alex Morgan at 100% for the stretch run.
Jessica McDonald, recent substitute, unable to find anyone inside, but is she going to win it back off of Jessica Fishlock? No, it's deemed a foul on McDonald. She's not pleased about that. Physical game, but you expect that a bit in a derby. It hasn't been overly physical. Really nothing in the way of cheap shots, aside from a few hard fouls in the first half.
Not a dirty game at all. I mean, there have been a couple of things. Obviously Keelan Winters, the Thorns weren't too happy about her foul on Vero early on.
Rightfully so.
But it really has not been a dirty game. It's been very competitive, and every foul has been a result of players working hard for the ball, not trying to. Not trying to take down an opponent.
Here's Keelan Winters just directing play a bit in the midfield. She's someone we haven't talked about a whole lot, but she's had a very good game in the midfield, helping to direct play.
She's
Larita Fishlock trying to find Naho. She just lurks down. She's swinging a miss from Rapino. I don't think she'll want to watch that one again. Here's Kim Little.
Kim Little tries to make up for it by feeding her a little scooper instead of taking the shot herself.
Out for a throw. Everyone's allowed a moment like that every once in a while where the ball is there and then you go to kick it, it isn't.
We'll all pretend we didn't see it.
Correct. That's a dangerous ball played toward Alex Morgan. She goes to the turf. Nothing given.
As she was unbalanced, and certainly there's a little bit of contact in there, but players are running straight back and go shoulder to shoulder, and of course she wants to see if she can get the call, but don't really think there was a lot in there.
Keelan Winters. Here's Rapino. Tries one forward towards Sydney LaRue. She's still running hard at Ongerer. This time even makes a little contact with Ongerer. Allie Long forward. That ball just too long.
Thorns trying to press the rein and win the ball back up higher.
There's an elbow in the back of LaRue, not given.
Again, they're going to challenge for everything that they can right at the half line.
There's Catley. Naho applying the pressure now. Also is Kim Little. Dancing away with Allie Long. Cross midfield to the captain, Sinclair. Here's Veronica Burkette. Well defended by the Reign. Really doing a good job keeping that ball off of Alex Morgan's feet. Kim Little chopped down.
Yeah, they're keeping the defensive shape really well, and the spacing between the midfielders and the backs defensively is really good. it's forcing the Thorns to be a little bit deliberate. Even though they're finding more space, it's only in the spaces that the Reign want them to be playing in. And so it allowed Jess Fishlock to step in and win that ball last time, just intercept it as opposed to having to go in and make a difficult tackle.
Miliana Shim coming in and replacing Amber Brooks. So that foul will be Amber Brooks' last action of the game. Shim making her 15th appearance of the season.
Brooks kind of frustrated throughout the match. She's kind of been run around a little bit. The one player has really been focused on trying to contain the Reign midfield.
Here's Naho, feeds it into Pino. Tries to get it back on her right foot. Takes one hit, takes two, and is whistled for the foul. She tried to recover. And Pino having none of it, apparently.
Well, I mean, that foul was back in the 18-yard box, and the Thorns want to take it as high as they possibly can. And there's Megan Rapinoe fighting for the ball. Nothing in that right there. Again, doesn't warrant a penalty kick for sure. Megan just fighting, hand fighting to try and win it back. And if you're going to give a foul, might as well be 90 yards away from your own goal.
Just a little tug on the shorts of Catley back then. McDonald's ball cleared. Back to Allie Long, who switches.
It's certainly better to give up that free kick than to allow a ball to be played directly into space for Alex Morgan.
Still 19 minutes in stoppage to be played here at the Moda Health pitch at Memorial Stadium. Rain, the sun shining brightly on the home side. Pino tries to pick out Little. Good work by Nikki Marshall. Over to the near side, here's Catley. To Alex Morgan. Can't connect. Been the story of the night for the Thorns.
Well, and the Thorns trying to do to the Reign what the Reign did to the Thorns in the first half, which is to shift the ball quickly across the field, and as the gaps open up at the back line, play diagonal balls across for players running in. But Alex Morgan's ball a little too long, a little too deep, a run a little too flat, and a little too late.
Kaylin Winters colliding with Miliana Shim. Thorns end up with possession.
Kristen Sinclair coming all the way back into the other team's half to collect the ball.
Menges to Shim and then to Allie Long. Trying to pick out McDonald. Glances to Catley. McDonald applying a bit of pressure.
Okete clearly has orders to stay higher up the pitch. She's now staying within 35 yards of the Reign's goal. In the first half, she was drifting back into the center circle and even deeper.
Here's Allie Long. Up to Jessica McDonald. Here's Alex Morgan, ball on the left foot, shot far post, whistles wide. Didn't miss by too much.
Well, that's what the Thorns want, obviously, is to get Alex Morgan running like that, isolated. But what the Reign also want is make sure that if she does get that ball, that it's wide of the goal from a tough shooting angle. You know, the Thorns score the majority of their goals from in and around the width of the 6-yard box. If you're going to let Alex Morgan run onto a ball, make sure that it's wide where Hope Solo can cover the frame of the goal a lot more easily.
It's been a recipe for success so far for the home side. Almost surprisingly so. Nifty little back heel from Long to Boquete. Trying to work around just Fishlock.
Again, look where Boquete is on the field with the ball. She's way out near the touchline. That's not where they want her.
Sinclair. Get for Sarah Huffman, ball in. And that will give the Thorns another corner. Allie Long trotting over to take. Quarter of an hour still to play. The outswinger off the upper corner. That could have been a start for Portland Thorns.
That's a well-driven ball across the goal, and I think it was McDonald goes up strong for that ball. Just gets ahead on it. I don't know that she knew too much about where it was going. Here you see her getting up and driving it back across, and it rattles the post. I think it moved the post back a couple of inches.
Yeah, hard header. It was almost buried in the back of the net. But it's been a story of almosts for the Thorns. They've had some tremendous opportunities when the score was much closer in the first half, just unable to put it past Hope Solo.
It does seem to be feast or famine for the Thorns. I mean, there are games where these goals they go in buckets, and there are other games where it seems like it doesn't matter how many chances they create, they just can't get the ball across the plane of the goal. It's almost like there's a sheet of glass in front of it.
If the score holds, it will be the largest margin of victory for any team in this rivalry. Set back, headed over the crossbar, and that was another fantastic chance, this time for Nikki Marshall.
Well, I mean, you would have put your money on that ball going in the back of the net. Absolutely. And the sort of a deceptive ball in gets past Naomi Kawasumi. It's bouncing around in front of just cannot get her head over the top of the ball and driving it down onto the goal line like a speed. But
Nikki Marshall.
Hope just throwing her arms out, hoping that she might be able to get something on it.
Nikki Marshall, the only player to start every game this season for the Thorns. Would have been her first goal of the season if it had found the back of the net. 20 games played, 20 games started.
And it looks like Kirsten Dahlstream is warming up to come in, probably trying to shore up that back line a little bit.
Just solidify things as time is continuing to tick down. A little scrum here on the near side. Catley fighting and winning out over Naho. Picking out Allie Long. Here's Christine Sinclair. Initial effort is blocked by Kendall Fletcher. She's been quite good at that today. As far as Menges. A little frustrated perhaps is Boquete, throwing her hands up after header into space, didn't find anyone.
The pressure's starting to get to the Reign a little bit. They're giving the ball away a little cheaply. They're sitting in and defending a little too much. They're being a little speculative with the balls that they're playing forward.
Chopped down was Christine Sinclair.
The Thorns starting to assert themselves, but they're starting to run out of clock.
Perhaps just a matter of too little, too late. And the Reign are going to take this opportunity to make a change. Kirsten Dahlstream checking into the game.
Making that second change for Seattle Reign FC. Leaving the game, number 2, Sydney LaRue.
Sydney LaRue, a job well done, hustling after every ball for 77 minutes. And getting a goal and an assist to her credit.
Clearly the fans appreciated her effort. She's just worked her tail off today. Got that early goal and has done a great job of
free kick dangerously in.
Of running the Thorns back line as much as she possibly can.
Jessica Fishlock was in a Thorn sandwich and was the one to whom the ball fell. Dahlstrom getting her first touch of the match. Kim Little. Here's Pino. Being marked by Nikki Marshall. Gets the ball toward the far post. Sliding it was Catley, and she needed to make that interception.
Yeah, otherwise Naho would have had her hat trick. That ball was just, if it had slipped by, it would have been an easy tap in. And again, she gets on the backside of her defender with nothing to stop her. That ball gets through.
Good sliding challenge from Ellie Reed. The ball forward. Cut out by Allie Long. Spoquete, Long. Has Sinclair on the near side, and McDonald making a diagonal run. In the end, picks no one.
Fishlock trying to recover, but starting to show the effects of what's been a very, very hard-fought game.
And she's always involved in the physicality of the match, more so than the normal player. In part because she initiates it, in part because she's so skilled. Moraine knocking it around back in their own half. Quick a time to go forward. Here's Dahlstrom.
Stephanie Cox not quite able to find Megan Rapinoe there. She was on a flyer in behind the outside back of the Thorns.
Pino getting away from two defenders to pick out Dahlstrom with a give and go. Naho coming in. able to win the ball back for the Reign.
It's just got to be so frustrating if you're a defender. You never quite know where she is, and all of a sudden she drifts in, and there she is on the ball.
Kim Little, a hard angle shot blocked by Stephanie Catley going down.
Well, that's one way to relieve the pressure on your back line, is to take the ball into the other team's 18 and hold it up there for a little bit, a while. Make them defend, make them work a little bit harder.
And they've been able to do that time and time again in this match. As soon as you think the Thorn pressure is starting to build and they have a couple of good chances, the Reign take the ball the other way. I believe that's Naho standing over the ball. Yes, it is. The out-swinging corner. Dahlstrom tries to head it back at the mixer. Falls out to Fishlock. Naho's ball in. Almost picked out Pino.
The Reign fans' attendance for tonight's match is 5,957.
5,957. The second salad of the season announced over the public address system here at Memorial Stadium. Very good crowd for this rivalry match. The perfect weather certainly didn't hurt.
Again, forcing Vero to play backwards, forcing her out wide near the touchline, forcing her to play backwards. That's exactly what the Reign want to do.
Vero's ball in toward McDonald.
She has to play a speculative ball in towards McDonald, and it's never going to amount to much.
Good work by Kaylin Winters, and Fishlock will dish it back to Hope Solo, who's been called upon really to make one tough save and came up big with that left hand. Great ball up to Kawasumi. Just mishits it a bit.
She's feeling it tonight. You know, she has the sense that she can get the ball in near the Thorns area anytime she wants. She's looking to put it in the back of the net and put an emphatic statement on this game.
Third and final change for Portland. Oncoming is Hannah Terry, number 28. She's replacing Alex Morgan, just making sure, keeping her healthy for the run in. Now, Hannah Terry is kind of an interesting story. She actually came on once, played, I think, a minute as a second half amateur substitution. She's out of Northeastern University, Big Ten school based in Chicago, and Coach Paul Riley liked her enough. They just signed her. Had a couple players go on the disabled list for the Thorns. And so this is Hannah Terry's second appearance for the Thorns, but first appearance as a professional. Good to see her getting a run out here in this match.
I think it's a smart decision by Paul Riley. I mean, again, you never want to say that you're throwing in the towel. But on the other hand, you know, the likelihood that the Thorns are going to get much out of this game is fairly low. And you know, only bad things could happen to Alex Morgan at this point. They're going to need her in the next 3 games.
Steph Cox picking out Dahlstrom. Here's Fishlock having a crack because she had time and space. Whistles it wide. And it gives a chance to give Hannah Terry some real competition, a real feel for what it's like to play the pro game. 1 minute out on the field isn't going to do much, but certainly 7 or 8, you'll start to get a feel.
Nadine Unger expressing the anger part of her last name for sure.
I was waiting for that play on words to happen at some point.
Can't help it, I'm afraid. Sorry. Apologize to all the listeners.
Dan Wharton, you've been a pleasure to work with you. There's nothing to apologize. Here's Kaylin Winters up to Dahlstrom. Ended up running out of running room.
I usually say stuff like that to make my kids roll their eyes, but.
Fishlock. Good work by Shim. One of 3 substitutions made by the Thorns here in the second half. Big cross from Megan Rapinoe.
And look who it is.
Naho. Surprise, surprise. It's like a broken record. Oh, good ball in. Just not a clean first touch from Kim Little.
Yeah,
otherwise, that could have been in the back of the net.
She kind of got caught at 2 minds there. It looked like what she was trying to do is collect the ball and maybe bring it back across the green. Force Unger to take a step to her left before firing it back to her right. But she probably would have done better just to try and side foot it.
Terry, welcome to the game. Gets a little shoulder shrug from Ellie Reed, sending her to the turf as she was trying to chase a ball that almost found Sinclair. What would you say? Obviously, the college game is big here in the States, but what's the biggest difference? The skill, the speed, all of the above between the pro game and the college game?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the quality all over the field. I mean, you see it in every sport. There are certainly great players at the college level, but here everybody is, was the best player on their college team or was the best player in their team in Europe, and so the overarching quality, the intelligence, the technique makes the ball move that much faster, which a college game tends to be a little bit more physical, partly because of substitution rules. But the game is just so much more technical, so much quicker. You have to know what's going to happen 3 or 4 steps ahead out here.
Thorns had to throw in an advanced position, but they're quickly made to retreat. They do a good job regrouping and finding Hannah Terry. She's met by a Seattle Reign sandwich of Ellie Reed and Kendall Fletcher. Clearance doesn't get very far, though, as there's Catley. No one there for the ball forward.
And the other part of it is everybody out here is playing for a paycheck, right? This is their job. This is their livelihood. And there are, no best friends when it comes to player decisions out here.
And the Reign are looking like they're going to make their third and final substitution at the next stoppage. So Mariah Noguera gets set to check in. She started the last match against Chicago. There's a ball forward. Kim Little just a bit offside.
Yeah, she started to make that run. She saw that space open up, and Megan Rapinoe wasn't able to pull the trigger just quick enough to keep her on.
So Mariah Noguera checks in for her 11th appearance. Naho Kawasumi, standing ovation all around Memorial Stadium. What an amazing performance.
And this is as much to give the Reign a little more defensive bite as it is to give the fans to show their appreciation for what Naomi Kawasumi's done in this game.
Your player of the match with 2 goals and an assist. I don't think anyone will overrule us on that one, David.
I don't think you'd find anybody to question it for sure. As Carmelita Moscato picks her up and throws her over her shoulder.
As only Moscato can do. Imposing player. Phenomenal game by Naho. And there's unfortunately an injured Reign player down. Getting picked up is Stephanie Catley and off to the field.
For the Thorns, yeah.
Waits on the near side pitch. No more substitutions remaining for the Thorns. Luckily, time is short. Looks like she's holding her knee as play resumes. Her right knee. There's Keelan Winters. She has been all game long. Burkette trying still, though.
There's some tendons in the back of the knee. I think it's hyperextended or worn out. It can be pretty painful.
And why risk it at this juncture? Why risk? One touch from Fishlock to Dahlstrom.
The Reign, however, not shy about taking advantage of the Thorns being a man down.
Hunger there. The home fans have seen exactly what they wanted. Jessica McDonald trying to save a little pride for the Thorns.
She did well to try and turn the corner there, but she realized she wasn't going to be able to get the ball into the center of the box, and just goes over the leg of Ellie Reed.
Back to Kendall Fletcher. Reign knocking it around. 1 minute to go in regular time.
Excuse me, Lauren Barnes.
Noguera, the most recent substitute, getting a touch. It's been a fun match. It's been an enjoyable match.
Well, certainly if you're a Reign fan, I'm sure the Thorns fans watching this game on YouTube right now are not so excited about it. But the home fans certainly very thrilled. I think the Thorns can definitely chalk this one up to having too many games in too short a period of time, coming off of facing a Reign team coming off of a week's rest with no travel. fired up to make a statement heading into the last month of the season.
Thorns will get another corner as we're just about to enter stoppage time. David, where do the teams go from here? How do the Reign let this buoy them, as they know it's a big result, but how do they stay grounded? And for the Thorns, how do they rebound?
Well, the Reign, they're going to have to stay grounded. They've got another game in just a couple of days, and so they're not going to have the luxury of being too excited about this. They'll enjoy it tonight for about 6 hours, and then they'll get back to work tomorrow morning.
3 minutes added time in the match.
For the Thorns, I think they'll just chalk this up to to one of those games where things didn't go their way, and they know that the next game is going to be the one that's most important. Not only that, but they know they have another shot at this Reign team. The last game of the season is going to be down in Portland, and they're going to be licking their chops, sharpening their knives, looking forward to that game.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, David. I believe the next match Wednesday night is on ESPN3.com, ESPN's digital service. And should be a pleasure to get to see. Yes, there it is, coming up on July 30th against Houston Dash.
And that's going to be a challenge. You know, it's a little warm in the Houston area this time of year, and I know the Reign will want to show well for a national audience like that.
It'll be fun to watch the Reign play on the ESPN family of networks. Then after that, they will continue on their travels, take on the always tough FC Kansas City.
Well, and you talk about motivation, that game's going to be very motivating. FC Kansas City, really the only team that has any chance to catch the Reign for first place. That one is going to be a decider as far as the standings and who the Reign wind up playing in the first round of the playoffs.
Rapinoe still gunning for it off of a good cross from Kirsten Dahlstrom. Just over the bar.
Yeah, Megan showing just a little bit of rust. Didn't get that cleanly, didn't get her knee up over the ball and able to drive it down. Dahlstrom did a great job to surge up the line and swing that ball in.
Of course, the most important thing is she's played almost an entire half again and is continuing to look healthy. Here's Little. Back to goal now. She's going to turn left this time in the back of the net, adding insult to injury, salt in the wound, etc. 5-0 to the Reign, and Kim Little now on top of the National Women's Soccer League.
Well, the entire Reign team and Thorn team were all flowing out to the Reign's right, to the Thorns' left flank. Everybody knew that's where she was going because she had multiple runners. So what does Kim Little do? Of course, she spins out to the left. Nadine Unger completely wrong-footed, and she fires it home at the near post.
Quite an impressive display from Seattle Reign FC, capped off by the league-leading scorer, Kim Little, here in stoppage time, and this should do it surely. I think both teams wouldn't mind if the final whistle blew now. Referee is content to allow play to continue just a bit longer. Terry can't work her way past Dahlstrom. Surely the full-time whistle is at hand.
I think both teams are just going to let the Reign knock the ball around a little bit and call it good.
The sellout crowd of 5,900, most of whom have stuck around, should explode as the final whistle sounds. And there it is. Seattle Reign FC take down Portland Thorns FC 5-0. Sydney LaRue with the goal. Kim Little with the goal. Naho Kawasumi, your player of the match, with 2 goals and assist. Megan Rapinoe with the goal. And just quick final thoughts, David Wharton.
Well, I mean, just a tremendous display by the Reign. Just unbelievable. You know, they knew they wanted to make a statement in this game, and boy, did they ever make one. Goals coming from all over the place. Thorns felt like they could get back in this game early on in the second half, and the Reign just never took their foot off the gas.
Well, that's it here from the Moda Health pitch at Memorial Stadium in Seattle, Washington. The home side shocks the tire-legged roadside. Seattle Reign FC brings home the 5-goal win over Portland Thorns FC. On behalf of David Wharton, everyone here from Bootstrapper Studios and the rest of the Seattle Reign FC team, I'm Landon Brookard. Thank you for joining us here on this splendid afternoon in the Northwest, and we'll see you again on Wednesday.